Yo.
Yo.
It's V
Is
What's going on, gentlemen?
Is that a test or no?
Oh yeah, we can start right now if you want.
Set it off.
Yes, little guy, we can start.
Go ahead and restart that shit, bro. Yeah, this man does not let me know when he's doing a test, bro.
Who cares? That's the point.
Fucking stop me 2 seconds after I was about to say some shit.
Alright, just don't say anything for a bit and then we can start. Yo, it's V N APE, dog. How you want to start, bro? Dude, damn, Leo. Leo got us banned from our favorite smoke shop, dog.
The smoke shop was so fire.
I can't believe that. I want to just say this. I don't have a favorite smoke shop. In fact, that was probably the only smoke shop I ever go to, and that's just because it was right there.
Now it's banned, motherfucker.
Well, too fucking bad. I mean, shit.
They didn't like Leo. They thought Leo tried to get away with what was it, a vape or some shit?
They're lowly individuals.
I want you to exonerate yourself, Leo.
Leo, how could you, dog?
I'm exonerated.
This motherfucker tried to take a vape, and they're like, nope. No, motherfucker.
Look, they could suck my dick.
That is about as petty a crime as you can do.
Come on, Leo. You could have just asked us if you wanted a vape, you know?
All right, I want a vape.
No, you can't. You fucked up.
Cap. The cap.
You know what I mean?
The cap.
Shit.
The cap, though.
If you would have just asked nicely, man.
You would have got a fucking job, Leo. Goddamn.
You are now tuned in to V N APE.
That was very eccentric. Let me tell you something. The fact of the matter is, there is some seriously not so repressed homosexuality in hip hop, and we all know
who's committing the homosexual
there
acts.
are some serious. This is the Harvey Weinstein of gay hip hop shit.
We know who's stuck in the closet.
More lawsuits have been coming out against the man, the myth, the legend himself.
The mogul.
The diddler. A.K.A. Diddy. A.K.A. Puff Daddy. A.K.A. Brother Love.
Right.
A.K.A. Swag.
We should have known. With all them fucking nicknames, we should have known he was up to no good. Brother Love.
You gotta be honest at some point. I mean, I've been calling this from the very beginning. I'm so exonerated, V. I can't believe you would ever declare at a certain point that you don't think Diddy's gay.
I mean, there's no actual evidence, but there is a lot of allegations.
That's about
if 10 people say you touched them, you have to have at least touched like one or two of them.
That's not
maybe
true,
not all of them, but at least one or two got touched.
The Bible would be the fucking truth for everything, bro.
For a man to
Wait, I don't see the connection there.
There is no connection. I'm just saying, like everybody, there's so many people that believe in the Bible and this and that and all these stories and.
Hey, bro, nobody's talking about fucking splitting the Red Sea and shit, bro. We're talking about
a man putting his mouth on another man's genitals.
But what's wrong with a man being gay?
No, that's not the issue. The issue is
he's doing it forcibly. He's forcing, he's grooming and he's forcing them to do this gay shit.
That's the claim, right?
Yeah.
That is the claim, yeah.
I don't believe any of that shit. You think a man like Diddy would be able to force you to do some shit like that?
No, not force you. No one. I don't think you can. Unless you got like some goon shit where you turn that shit into a prison.
Right. He fucking throws in those.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
people will do anything for a shot to make it.
I'm saying that people are tossing ass
to make it in the music industry.
Oh, you think it's for a record deal?
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's for clout. It's to make it in the record industry.
Absolutely. This is the Harvey Weinstein effect going on here. I don't think it's anything other than this.
By the way, the guy that's claiming all of this, he goes by the name Lil Rod.
Yeah, he's a producer.
Fascinating.
Which is a wild name to have.
Bro, Lil Rod, bro.
Come on, dog.
Diddy touched his Lil Rod.
Diddy gave him that name. Shit.
He claimed that, like, Diddy, like, they were in the studio, and that Diddy was like, yo, I fucked Meek Mill, right? And was just like, that's how shit, like, kind of goes down, right? Like, I forgot what he had said or something.
I don't even think it's just Meek Mill, bro. Bro, I saw the video of Meek Mill. There's a video of the rapper Meek Mill in a pool, and you see Diddy, like...
He's like, what's up, daddy?
He's just calling him daddy, and you see Meek Mill with the most, like, victimized, traumatized face on a man.
You seen him, dog? He looked like he was uncomfortable.
He looked so vulnerable, bro. He looked like he was trying to cool off his ass after a pounding, bro. That shit was brutal.
And then, like, the whole shit where, like, once academics found out about it, it was game over, bro. You know he was gonna, like, start talking his shit, because him and Meek have had this, like, beef for the longest. where like Meek claims where like academics is like nothing but bad for the culture. He influences all these deaths in the community because of his narratives or the way he like presents shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so
like he started the beef that's already ongoing by the time he makes
like,
the video.
Yeah, type shit where I think Ak even claimed that Meek told on him.
Yeah.
Claiming that like Meek talked to like a governor or some shit where along the lines where like saying pretty much what I just said, that Ak is pretty much responsible for all the deaths in his community and the black community. And that's just fucking ridiculous, bro.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, so Meek had like a fucking temper tantrum on Twitter. Mm-hmm. He was trying to go through fucking XYZ to prove that the man's not gay in any slight. He was talking about that he skips red lights like when he's on the way to get some pussy because that's how like manly he is. That he has to like, you know. He
skips red lights to get pussy. Yeah, he was making an entire scene about how masculine he is and how much.
There was other wild claims too. I forgot what else he said, but like just like Meek, what are we doing here, bro? Like
I remember like when Diddy was pressed on the homosexuality thing in the Breakfast Club, he never even denied it, bro. He was just like, you know, I ain't got no shame in my game, bro.
And then he'll like laugh.
Definitely ain't no shame.
I thought he needed some.
Definitely zero shame.
Clothes.
Yeah, that's when he was talking to. Cause Charlamagne was asking him about 50, like, yo, bro, like, why you taking men out shopping? And he's like, man, I thought he needed some clothes, bro. Like,
brother love.
Brother
love.
He
was showing some brotherly love.
That is some odd love.
And the whole shit, have you seen the clip where like he's talking about Usher? Where like, yo, me and my brother right here, man, we used to when we were young, we used to wrestle for Frosted Flakes in the bed, and I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know about that.
And then you could just look at Usher's face, and he's just like,
Usher was, I mean, clearly, first of all,
I always thought Usher was a little gay.
Meek were in by the way, in the lawsuit, like
I don't think you understand though. The fact of the matter is that like. Look, Usher lived with Diddy for a year. As a fucking teen.
Have you seen the clips of Justin Bieber hanging out with Diddy? And Diddy's like, why don't you hang out with me no more?
Yeah. And Justin seems fucking terrified.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have your number.
He had these men shivering, bro. I remember.
Because they know the type of freak-offs they gonna get into if they hang out with Diddy.
I still remember this one Diddy interview where Diddy was there and he was talking to like the other guys that were in his label, and he talks to this one guy. He's like, why won't you party with me for your birthday?
Oh, that's what Jadakiss and Fast.
Why won't you party with me? And the guy's like, you know, his voice started shaking.
Come on, Daddy.
His voice started shaking. He started saying, I'll party with you. I'll party with you for your birthday. Nah, but we ain't never partied like that before. You know,
wink, wink.
You think Puff deep inside is just like the most like toughest dude ever, and like he just happens to be gay, and it's like, yo, nigga, come here, dog.
I think he's another R.
Give me that ass, boy. Like he's one of those dudes.
He's aggressive for sure.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
He gives me those vibes.
He's the top, not the bottom.
Hey man, I think he listen. He's doing it both ways, bro. I don't think.
He don't care.
Yeah, I don't think he cares. I think the tough guy shit is just
a facade.
That's just something so that he can accept, you know, that he's gay, because he's not. Clearly, he doesn't accept it. He hasn't told anybody about it.
He's never came out and be like, yeah, guys, I'm gay. He's never said that.
Yeah.
So that's the weird part. And he's never said he wasn't. I don't think he's ever been like, yo, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's never hit anything like that
I know before. Of. But yeah, dog, Freak Mill.
But there's a lot of gay shit. I mean,
Freak Mill.
That is a wild.
Yeah, hip hop has always had that type of shit going on in the background, and music in general has always had that type of shit in the background.
Do you guys think any of this is gonna like affect their careers in any way?
I mean, Diddy's kind of done for.
What?
Yeah.
You think he's done?
Forking him, he's done.
You think he's done?
Way too many allegations. And he settled the Cassie one, like, dude, way too many allegations.
Seems too sus.
First of all, they're going to drain him of all his money. And then he's going to get hit with the R. Kelly. He's going to jail.
You think that's going to be the final outcome?
Yeah, he's going to go to jail.
No, I don't think so. Bro.
I don't know what the outcome of the trial or any of that shit is going to be, but like I'll tell you.
They sent Danny Masterson to jail over a supposed rape that happened in 2002.
Well, he's not going to end
guy from
up
that
in the same
show?
Situation.
Oh, I heard about that, bro.
Dude, they sent him to jail for 30 years. He had a mistrial, and then on the second trial, they convicted him.
Right.
Bullshit, dude. So imagine what they're going to do to Diddy.
Well, what are they going to do to Diddy?
play with his ass?
Nothing, bro. He's not, bro.
I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be Harvey Weinstein or if he's gonna be Michael Jackson. You know.
He's definitely
Chill
gonna.
with Mike, bro. Mike, the feds were on his ass. Nothing, my boy.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Bro, think of it like this, bro.
He just liked to sleep with little children.
Mike had the chance to smash with like.
Oh my god! I just remembered.
Macaulay Culkin. He's like, if you were a pedophile, that would be the GOAT, right?
Yeah,
like that would be like the fucking statue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's the one, and there was no proof of that.
And if you got raped by a man, you would want to confess to the world that it actually did happen instead of denying it.
Can I segue
Sure, why
right
not?
quick?
Right.
You're saying that no man would?
No, I'm not saying no man would. Don't be putting. You're putting words in my mouth now.
You're saying that most men wouldn't want to?
Most men do not want to admit some shit like that.
I mean,
It makes them look weak.
if it's gonna help you in the long term, I think you should.
How would that help you in the long
You don't think that would help you admitting that?
Not necessarily, no.
So it'd be better kept as a secret?
It depends.
That's not good, bro. First of all, you'd be bottling emotions up the whole time.
No, you don't have to tell the world your details about your most personal shit. That's not bottling anything.
Oh, so you mean in the sense where like you could admit it to like let's say authorities but like not to the whole world.
Well, he's famous.
That's what I was gonna say. Regardless, it would be impossible
He's
to keep
famous.
that. It would be impossible to.
But the problem is you don't have to admit shit like that to the whole world. That doesn't necessarily do jack shit for you.
I mean, once the case is a case, it's gonna become famous though, because they're famous. So it would be impossible.
Yeah, but that there's no guarantee at all in the least that that's gonna have a positive impact on you.
By admitting it.
At all.
I mean, there's no evidence that there'll be a positive of not saying it either.
It's not that it would be a positive. I'm just not convinced at all that being a famous person and admitting to being
Getting raped by a man
is somehow beneficial to your mental health.
I'm sure it'll make you look weak in the eyes of other people.
I have no way of telling you
Right.
that this is better
but
than not saying it. And I actually think it probably would be better for most people to not fucking get into a complete fame scandal like all over the goddamn world with everybody talking about how you got raped by the most famous person maybe alive at the time.
Look, hold on, because I gotta segue this shit right quick. Did you guys see the motherfuckers that were fundraising and had little kids sucking their toes? I know you guys saw that.
What?
Dude,
Yeah, I saw that.
They were fundraising at a school and they had grown-ass adults getting their toes sucked by little kids.
They weren't adults.
Yeah, they were.
No.
Yes, they were,
No.
dude. Hell yeah. They weren't kids.
Yeah, they were.
No, they weren't.
Yeah,
they were grown-ass fucking people.
No.
Yeah, I'll find you the video right now.
Go for it. I saw it, bro.
Getting their toes sucked by little kids, dude, for fundraising at a school. Tell me that's not fucking weird.
Either way, that's fucking disgusting.
Tell me that's not fucking weird.
What's the goal?
Fundraising, apparently, for some shit.
So they're paying people to get their toes sucked on?
They're paying little kids.
They're paying kids to suck toes.
Look, that's a grown-ass person's feet. That ain't no little kid's feet, man. Those are grown-ass people. Come on, Ape. Those are all grown-ass people getting their toes sucked by little kids.
First
that
of all,
shit is
what
weird.
what school
Tell
is
me
this?
that's not weird as fuck.
What school is
Tell me
this?
that's not weird as fuck.
What school is this? And where is this happening?
School raises $152,000 by having students sucking on the toes of adults.
Yo.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, dog. What the fuck?
I knew it wasn't no. Look at it. Look at them grown-ass adults. That ain't no kids, bro. Look at them. That's fucked up, dude. That is fucked up.
What school is this, bro?
I don't know, but it's fucking weird.
That is like woke to the...
No, that's fucking weird. At Creek High School in Oklahoma, Deer Creek High School, a fundraising event.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, yeah, I know where to never go.
Dude, that is the weirdest shit. Like, how do you even allow that as an administrator to the school? Like, how does that not set off a pedo in your fucking brain? Like,
They should be arrested.
oh yeah, we're gonna fundraise and we're gonna have little kids sucking toes. Like, what? You guys are fucking out of here. Like,
Did you guys see that interview that Rogan had with Katt Williams?
Yeah.
I did see a couple pieces of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
I've seen the whole thing. I didn't enjoy it.
Bro, Katt Williams.
I like that it's everywhere now. Like, YouTube,
did not
everywhere.
look at all like he knew jack shit about what he was saying.
I already knew Ape's whole point was gonna be that. I
mean,
knew
Katt
that.
Williams usually just talks shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's a comedian, Ape. How much
No,
are you
no.
gonna... You gotta give him the benefit
You know what
of
he
the doubt,
said about
too.
I can't even say no
transgenderism?
way. Can you guys stop for a second? The fact of the matter is that this man presents himself as though he knows what the fuck he's talking
I know, but that could be...
Because
a
he's
whole bit.
arrogant as fuck.
That's not a bit, bro. He was not being funny at all.
He's super arrogant.
The whole idea where, like, everything...
He was not being funny. I mean,
The whole
I mean,
idea...
I didn't think it was funny, especially when he compared transgenderism to Baphomet coming back to rule the world. I was
Right.
like, get the fuck out of here.
The whole idea where, like, everything is, like... all these stories they've been told by all these amount of people, so there's no, it has to be true. That was kind of his whole thing with everything, like that these stories have been told by so many people, and that there is no different story. That everybody's saying the same story.
That has the same narrative.
Therefore, it's the truth.
It's the truth, yeah.
It's like we can't do anything about it. It's like he was kind of going off on his like.
But he also said that he moved to Coconut Grove to steal radios and sell them for $2,000 a pop. That's bullshit, because the radios don't go for more than $200, especially back then. You feel me? So he inflates his stories. You feel me?
What was your whole take about it, though?
I mean, my whole take was, I mean, there's I don't think that any of the things that were mentioned that are like consequential in terms of like society in general, I don't think any of that shit was at all sensible, at least in terms of the evidence that he could present for it. I mean, if the evidence that you're going to present for some shit is based on the idea of like, yeah, you know, it's God and it's this and it's that and the UFOs.
God can't be your anchor to your fucking argument. You feel me?
It can't be an argument.
It has to be, if you're going to include God and religion and spirituality and shit, it has to be more rooted in fact. You feel me? It can't be rooted in conjecture.
There has to be some form of evidence, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Like it can't.
That's why I didn't enjoy the Katt Williams, Joe Rogan shit. It was like,
the Shay Shay interview was way funnier.
Yeah, because he was more in his comedian bag.
He took shots at everybody, like.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's more in his comedian bag. I respect.
If he would have talked more about like you know, the industry and the way I mean, that would have been more.
At least a bit better. Yeah.
More interesting.
I feel like he wasted like his good talking points on the Club Shay Shay interview. So when he went to Joe Rogan, he had exhausted all his main talking points. You feel me? He could only regurgitate like little bits and pieces of what he had said.
I mean, Katt, he's an interesting dude.
He's a funny dude. He's a funny dude.
I just didn't like that was gonna be his whole point. Each like. Every other like
sentence.
Yeah, it's like, come on, dog. Let's talk about something else.
It was a bit much.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't think it was a good Joe Rogan episode.
He wasted a Joe Rogan episode.
Yeah.
When he could have been, but there was some things that he did bring up, where it's like, oh, bring up the. I forgot what the
Rogan took it very light on him, by the way.
He was being nice as fuck.
He usually takes it light on people
no, he doesn't.
That he's not comfortable with.
Yeah, he's not comfortable with Katt. That's why he didn't test him on certain things. He kept asking him like, "What's this?" That like he was being so nice to him, bro. Honest Joe Rogan would have been like, "Bro, you don't know what you're talking about." Like if he was talking to like Brendan Schaub and like
you saw Brendan Schaub crash his truck doing a donut?
I seen that.
Dude, he's so stupid.
If he was talking to Brendan Schaub or like Brian Callen or them, he would have been himself 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. With people that he's more like comfortable with.
Yeah, he's not gonna disrespect the guest and shit. You feel me?
Like he wasn't gonna say some crazy shit to The Rock when he did the interview with The Rock. You feel me? Like that shit was super fucking.
Oh yeah, the Rock one was horrible too.
That shit was light.
They barely talked about wrestling, bro.
That was a diet podcast interview.
Yeah.
Diet as fuck.
I mean, you got to think about it though. Joe Rogan podcast is like the most streamed and listened to podcast.
So it has to be digestible.
It has to be digestible, and he's not gonna touch on topics that he used to touch on.
Yeah, he can't breathe oxygen into conspiracy theories.
Like he can't do that all the time. That's why he hasn't even brought back Alex. Because you already know if once he brings back Alex Jones' top streamed episode for a bit.
I love Alex Jones interviews just because they're so interesting. Like
they really are, bro. Like a lot of it might be cap, whatever, but
it's still funny and entertaining. So
there's truths in it too, though. So
yeah, definitely.
But here's the deal. I'm gonna shift a little bit right now. We were talking the other day on Twitter about how Diaz-Canel, the dictator of Cuba...
Oh, you seen that shit?
Or the actor who's pretending to be the dictator of Cuba. Mm-hmm. That motherfucker, of course...
Calling the UN for help.
This is no, like, shock to me at all, by the way, before I just say it. I'm not at all surprised that the communist regime supports
Palestine.
The what is it, Palestine or whatever.
Of course.
The Cuban president
I don't know why anyone
talking about how we have to stop all the madness at Gaza.
Yeah, there should be a ceasefire, definitely. And Hamas should return the fucking political prisoners.
There's actually the Cuba's actually asking the UN for help for because there's like the food shortages are getting too and crazy.
In Cuba?
Yeah.
I mean,
I seen an
ever
article
since
about
COVID, dude, it's been really bad. Like, it was bad before, but COVID sucked, like, the last little bit of soul out of Cuba.
No, the food shortages are getting to it.
And even the people don't have, like, cows and shit to raise. Like, they just don't have anything.
Cuba doesn't want to ask the UN for help, bro, pretty much.
They have to.
But they actually said they are, so. Speaking of Palestine, I know you guys... I mean, this is probably Leo's like idol right now. This guy,
get the fuck out of here.
This god, like this guy. I know Leo looks up to him, so we gotta talk about
Karl
it.
Marx?
The guy that burned himself alive.
He already knows.
Of course.
Oh, that guy?
That screamed, free Palestine, before his death.
Right up to his death, he was said, free Palestine. And he's a 25-year-old Air Force.
I mean, come on, Leo. That's sad, though, bro.
Are you saying that I support that? That I think you should go burn yourself alive?
I thought that would have been
It brought a lot of light to an issue that already has a lot of light on it.
No, it didn't. What light did it bring, bro?
I'm saying
that poor guy committed suicide and killed himself.
More people to pay attention to
most
Gaza
people don't
and
even
Palestine.
know that shit happened, bro.
Yeah, bro.
A lot of people know that he burned himself on fire.
Yeah, people on Twitter. There's people on Twitter like fucking, oh my god.
What's his name? Bushnell or something?
Aaron Bushnell. I believe that's his name. There's people on Twitter like fucking bowing down to this man, like if he's like some sort of like.
He didn't solve anything.
No,
that's the point.
He just killed himself.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's
sad as fuck.
It's mental illness on display for the world to see.
Literally.
You know, this is actually very different from what I see when the Buddhist monks in Vietnam, for example.
That was going to be the first thing I was going to bring up, bro.
Because it seems... Because here's the thing. Here in the
There has to be
United
some
States,
type of correlation between them.
The interesting thing is that in the United States, at least, like, you have the right to protest, right? And it can become a lot easier through a protest to get attention.
If you do some crazy ass shit.
And to make some shit go viral, right?
But he can't enjoy the virality of his actions. He's dead.
Well, if he was
He's
doing
burnt
it,
to a crisp.
if he was doing it for his enjoyment, he wouldn't be a
Also,
political
I thought it
dissident
was
to
crazy
begin with. Because that makes no fucking sense.
I thought it was crazy that they were holding a gun to him, like while he was burning on the floor. Like they have a gun to him, like, oh, stop moving. Like,
I didn't see the video.
Yeah, some cop is literally holding a gun to him, like, don't move, and it's like, dude, he's burning alive. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're gonna shoot him?
Who are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
The guy that lit himself on fire.
Oh, I see.
After he was on the floor, the cops like had a gun on him, and I'm like, dude, that's so like useless.
Maybe he didn't want to like, just in case he harmed somebody else.
He's done for.
It's sad, I know.
That is possible, yeah.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe he fucks around, just runs into you, burns you to fuck.
No, he was on the floor. Like,
no, I feel
they were holding a gun to him on the floor. He was done.
R.I.P. to that dude, bro. And that man he was going through it, bro.
He was, yeah.
You know what? He had a fund created, and he said any money that goes towards him, like any GoFundMe, any campaign, any money that would go towards him for what he did, he wants it to go to the children in Gaza. Like his fund, he wants it all donated. I don't see anybody
in Palestine talking about this guy. Or bringing up his name. There should be pictures.
I don't know.
There should be pictures of this guy all over Gaza.
Money would do it all to ease the situation.
For aid, just for aid.
Yeah, who's gonna get it there?
Humanitarian aid.
Who's gonna get it there?
I mean, the United Nations have been trying to.
That's what I'm saying. That like the amount of money that you have has no.
Do you think it's ever ethically right to protest in that form?
If it's ethically right, I mean that's questionable. Who knows?
It
might be.
Do you think
is it cool to trade a life for a headline?
Well, I'm not saying his case was justified.
Do you think the Buddhist monks were justified?
I think they also have some type of mental illness, because you don't just burn yourself on fire like for the fuck of it. Like, you feel me? You causing a statement. You want a statement. You want someone to look at this and be like, this is extreme. This is it makes me think. It makes me feel some type of way. It's not just bullshit.
Right, there's no way really to get press in a place like communist Vietnam in that era that would reach the headlines worldwide about human rights abuses. And so unless something drastic like that were to occur, which he's not the only Buddha, I mean, a lot of Buddhist monks have done that.
Yeah.
You're talking about the famous one that like starved himself and then lit himself on fire, right?
Me and Ape have previously talked about it on the pod before. That's what he means. There's a guy that
the video of it is crystal clear.
And who used it as a cover album for their rock band?
No idea.
I mean, we used it for an episode cover.
No, but a rock band used it as a cover album. I forgot right now.
What was I gonna say? Fuck. Do you think the Buddhist monks are
Rage Against the Machines? There you go, Rage Against the Machines.
Not really.
Not for burning themselves on fire?
Not necessarily, no.
What was the question?
Interesting.
No. What was the question?
I asked him if he thinks the Buddhist monks that burn themselves to death are mentally ill.
They do definitely have some type of mental illness.
I don't think they're...
Because it's too extreme.
I don't think that they're differentiated that much from any other
You told
Buddhist
me previously
monk.
on pods that if someone's trying to kill themselves, that they're mentally ill.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
So isn't that kind of contradicting?
Yeah, I wasn't saying that in the same sense.
Obviously, it's a different, but they're still killing themselves.
Like if I for example were to run head first into a bullet to save my brother's life, right?
I
am killing myself.
That's a completely different, drastic situation.
Exactly.
But we're talking about,
and so is the one about the moon.
You're sacrificing yourself.
Yeah, hold on.
You're not killing yourself. You're sacrificing yourself.
The fucking argument because you won't let me fucking talk.
Go for it.
Here's the situation, right? If you're gonna kill yourself, the problem with this is we were talking about people killing themselves because they just want to end their fucking lives. Okay? Now that's different from killing yourself for an external purpose that has nothing to do with just you wanting to fucking stop living.
Sure.
Okay?
I agree.
And
it's a sacrifice.
And so that's true for both the bullet case and the fucking monk burning himself alive case.
Sure.
As far as you can tell.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
But the you sacrificing your life to save your brother versus the person protesting for that is still drastically different.
It's still drastically different.
Extremely.
But the point is not how drastically different they are. The point that I'm trying to make logically is the fact that...
I get it. The things we were talking about in earlier pods was just somebody that wanted to kill themselves just based off nothing. Just wants to just die. Versus this guy has a reason. He's doing this because he wants to protest for the greater good of the country.
Now you can argue what reasons would be like, okay, this guy's
where do you draw the line?
Head.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If some guy were to say, I'm going to kill myself because, in my mind there's a prophecy saying that if I kill myself, then Jesus is going to return and save the world. That guy...
Big cap.
That guy's probably fucked in the head, right?
But the Buddhist monks weren't.
I don't think so, no.
I think they were.
I think you can talk regular-ass people into fucking killing themselves. And you see this all the fucking time. I mean, you see people that go on what's essentially a suicide mission to protect and serve their country.
The suicide bombers? The Japanese suicide bombers?
I don't mean that necessarily, but even though I don't...
Or the guys that crashed into the World Trade Center.
Jihads and...
No, not necessarily jihadists. Right.
But
although
they
that would be a
believe in
case
that.
too. I don't think these people are like... I don't think this is just a case of like some fucking mentally ill people. I think these are actually people that...
Extremists.
Religiously believe some shit. And they actually go after it. Now, I think the same can be said of like soldiers who go on what's essentially a suicide mission because they know that if they don't do that, then, a lot more other people are going to die. And you see that in war all the time. I don't think those guys that are doing that are doing it because they're mentally ill, even though they're still making a sacrifice in that
There are a lot of lines drawn in this.
There are,
it's hard.
But like I said, that's a sacrifice. That's not a suicide.
So
you can sacrifice yourself for the good of other ones.
What difference are you making?
Well, in that case, he's trying to help out his buddies, right?
Is the Vietnam guy not trying to help out his buddies?
I don't know, is he? I don't know what his root cause was. I don't even know why he did it. I swear to God. I have no idea why he did it.
So I don't know where you're talking. Are you just bringing random shit up? Or what?
No, I'm just saying that someone sacrificing their life to help others is different than a guy burning himself alive for a cause.
I mean, technically, you're sacrifice. I mean, you're still killing yourself, though, Leo. Technically.
Yeah.
I get what you're trying to say, though. Like, yeah, it's a...
But there could be like an instant, like, okay,
it's still
I took a bullet for my brother, right? So that my brother wouldn't die. Instead of I'm burning myself and something might happen, but I don't know.
You're still technically killing yourself, though, because you're the one that's you're making that action.
Well, if you try to save your brother's life by taking that bullet, there's no guarantee that your brother won't die right after you fall on the ground. So that you still don't know.
There's no guarantee that you'll change anyone's mind by burning yourself alive.
That's true. There are no guarantees. How does that change anything?
It's still killing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Regardless, though, rest in peace to the homie who did. Somebody should have been there.
Rest in peace, Bushnell.
Somebody should have been there talking to that guy and been like, "Yo, man, like
this isn't the way.
This ain't the way to go. I get you're like, I get your.
I mean, he definitely achieved his goal.
Yeah, Leo, but
he got a lot of people talking about
for
him.
what though?
He did,
but that's
in the name of Gaza. In the name of the little children.
I say this respectfully. In a couple weeks, this is not going to be any news no more, bro.
Bro, this shit, it's not even news right now, bro. Like, I don't know any... Other than, like, the people that are interested in this sort of news, nobody gives a fuck.
Or if you're on X.
All I'm saying is everybody in Palestine better have a picture of that man posted up somewhere, bro. If not...
Doubtful.
Nah, dead ass, bro. They better have...
Give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck about that guy. That's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, come on, dog. Like, do you think these guys care?
They don't.
It's sad, but yeah. Rest in peace to that dude, so.
But I think that it's one of the things that people often notice about religion, especially like critics of religion, notice that like somebody can get talked into doing some crazy shit like go on a suicide mission in the name of religion.
Do you think you have a feeble mind if you can be talked into something like that?
No.
You don't have a weak mind?
No.
Why? Because of the amount of strength it takes to actually go through with it and kill yourself?
No.
So then why? Why don't you have a feeble mind? Because if you can be talked into it.
because I don't think there's some special.
Can you be talked into that?
I'm not stupid enough to say that I couldn't be talked into something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Leo, I think you're doubting the power of brainwashing.
So you could be talked into.
Anybody could.
Yourself?
I think that's Ape's point. Anybody could.
I think you could be talked
into.
into.
But I'm talking about you in specific. You.
Sure,
Ape.
why not?
You could be talked into doing something like that. I just don't feel like I could be talked into doing something like that.
I know you don't.
I wouldn't do it, first of all.
Yeah, that's bullshit, but okay.
I wouldn't.
How do you know that?
Look, if you really want me to say it, like the actual reason why is because I have someone in my family that actually killed themselves by burning themselves alive. So I just can't see it happening to me. You feel me? Like that already is a sensitive subject to me because of the person who did it.
Listen,
and that caused a lot of fucking trauma in my family. So just because of that, I don't think I could be talked into it. Just because I already have that image in my mind. And
let's say you get talked into it. All right, then fuck the fire. Let's change the topic and make it something else. Let's make it you end up in a fucking suicide vest.
I don't think I would.
No, you're too strong-minded. Of course you couldn't.
I mean, I just don't see myself sacrificing myself like that. It's not something that I would do. Like,
I know you think that.
You think some talking can change that?
You think it's just talking. That's the issue. Like, it's not.
Let's say hypothetically, there's like this hypothetical company that just brainwashes people, but you don't know it. You don't think that there's ways that you could just brainwash people, bro?
I mean,
you can make it seem like it's all fucking roses. Everything's gonna be all sweet, like communism. They think everything's all sweet, this and that. How do you think they brainwash all these people to think that communism is good?
I mean, I think they were just the class, the class battle. It was a battle between the classes, and unfortunately, they thought communism would balance it out. Like everyone would be equal, and it was never gonna be like that.
This is probably more important. All right, let's say you were regular old middle class or working class German when Hitler rises to power. You're military age.
What, am I going to become a Nazi?
Are you willing to become a Nazi? Would you have accepted the ideology? Would you have killed a
lot of people do things because other people are doing it. Like, I'm going to become a Nazi because everyone around me is becoming a Nazi. And if I don't, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb and they might try to kill me.
Do you think you wouldn't have been a Nazi is the question?
I mean, I wasn't around at that time. I can't tell you.
Though, hypothetically.
Yeah, I can't tell you for sure.
You asked me a hypothetical, which is whether I would ever strap on a vest or fucking burn myself alive, right? Yeah. I can't answer that question honestly because it's a fucking hypothetical. Obviously, I have no urge to do some shit like that. I don't see myself doing some shit like that. But I'm never going to be so...
As a matter of fact, I still question how he brainwashed so many Germans into hating Jews. Or did they just hate Jews already?
Well, there was already...
Jewish
There was already some Jew hatred. But people,
so maybe he played into that.
No, it's not like he fucking... When he started executing Jews, it's not like he fucking reported it. Most people in Germany had no fucking idea that shit was happening.
Bro, they were throwing the Olympics. They threw the Olympics where other countries came, and like that was like very like it didn't age well because imagine these guys fucking.
So they were killing Jews while throwing the Olympics.
They were. I'm pretty sure they were starting the process.
Yeah, I don't think they were killing.
They weren't killing them yet, but they were definitely.
Wasn't the Olympics in like 36?
Hitler was already in charge.
Yeah, but it was before he really started his campaign. He was in charge already. He really kicked his campaign into gear like in the early 40s.
He was at the Olympics.
When the war started in the...
the war didn't start yet. But
so they probably didn't have any idea of what was going on. They were just like, we're just here to compete physically. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of shit that people don't know is going on. But in the case of somebody like, for example, a jihadist, right? Most jihadists, unless you're one of those like American dudes that went over there and joined ISIS because you got into the propaganda.
Retarded, but whatever.
For the most part,
who's done that?
Some people have been swayed to go join Islam and the jihad because they think that that's the right way of life.
Americans?
Yeah, it's fucking stupid, but whatever.
But there's also
like I don't think I could ever be brainwashed into doing some shit like that. Like just speaking personally, I don't see it happening for me.
I mean, it doesn't matter how we see it, right?
It does.
No.
There's such a thing as your own mental capacity to resist
but you don't
something.
know. Nobody knows their own mental capacity. That's the whole point.
And we don't know the future.
Anyone that thinks they know their mental capacity doesn't. And everyone who knows...
I just meant in a way of resisting, like
foreign
ideas.
We don't know that. Nobody knows their capacity for that. Nobody's been pushed.
You have an idea, though. You have you have an idea.
No, you don't. You have an idea under certain circumstances. The ones that you've been brought up in, the life that you live. Outside of that, we don't know shit, bro. I mean, think about it. Just think about it.
I mean, in what sense, though, just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah, go for it.
In what sense would you ever what situation you think that would ever be able to brainwash you, though, in that sense?
I don't know.
I mean, sure, that's a good answer because we don't know, but it's like, with all the knowledge that you do have of certain things and like experiences that you've had, and let's say, I don't know what it is, fucking becoming a communist, like your family was drenched into this. Yeah. Like, at what level do you, it's like, bro, how could you even get brainwashed by this? Like, I get it, your point where it's like, you don't know the capacity and like, who knows, maybe there's a guy there's a fucking genius, brainwashes you.
It doesn't have to be a genius.
Or anything, it could be any moment or any type of...
Look, think about certain societies that people grow up in, like the jihadists, right? They grow up around, for the most part, just completely captivated by the Quran. They basically, I mean, they all but worship.
They kill themselves for like 9 virgins. It's stupid as fuck.
Right. Well, they see it as a lot more than 9 virgins.
It's so dumb. Like, I want to kill myself so I can have a bunch of virgins.
Right.
Like, what? How many times can you fuck these virgins? Once you fuck them once, aren't they not virgins?
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot more than... I mean, the point is a lot more than just the virgins.
I understand that it's nuanced, but it's just something that's so dumb to me.
Okay. But the point is this. If you were raised in an Islamic society...
I guess I would think differently.
You believe that?
If I was raised in an Islamic society, yeah, I would think different, of course. I would probably think of Americans infidels.
Okay.
But there's different levels of jihad too. Like, you could support them, or you could really be in it and actually do the work, you know?
That's true.
Or you could just be people that live your regular life.
And just from a distance support them.
What I want is for you to imagine, like, say that you were brought up, right, and fuck it, let's say the Gaza Strip or some shit.
Or would I be a Hamas member?
Let's say you were brought up under a highly, extremely, totalitarianly religious indoctrination, right? To believe that the best good that you can do is that. Now, do you think your genetic endowment would prevent you from carrying out the act of jihad?
I mean, there got to be some people that like read this shit and they're like, this can't be right.
If you were born into it, be right. Is that the case?
There has to be. There's a lot of people that will be swayed into believing that that's the right choice, but there has to be some people that in their minds they know it's not right. Like, they know this is not right.
To prove it, but there's plenty of those that don't do it. So that would solve your answer. Solve your question.
I'm just trying to figure out whether you think that you'd be the exception to the rule.
I don't know, because I really have never been put in that type of situation. But
that would be the problem.
You know
that's the answer.
You know what's the most, like, the comparison that I can draw to?
Yeah.
I went to Sunday school almost like my whole like childhood life. I did my communion. I did my confirmation.
Church?
Yeah. I literally was in church like 3-4 times out of the week.
Yeah.
And I still denounced God at like the age of 10 or 11, and I was still like, even though I was doing my confirmation and my communion, I was like, I don't believe in this.
So did I.
I was like, all this shit that they're telling me, I know it's a fake, it's a story.
Yeah.
Like,
what brainwashed you?
Huh?
What brainwashed you into that?
No, it was myself. Just seeing like all the things go on around me, and just like stuff just happening now. I was just like, there's no way there's a God that would allow things like this. Like, there's just no fucking way. Now that I've become older, I do believe in a higher power, but it's not like the Catholic God that they tried to instill in me. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So I know that in my brain, like, when I know something isn't right, like, it's not right. You feel me?
Okay. I mean, I had the same experience when I ended up, leaving Christianity as a very young fucking kid.
Yeah, I was super young, dude. I was like 9 or 10 years old, telling my parents that God doesn't exist, and then they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? We send you to church every couple of days out of the week and stuff." And they were telling me like, "Oh, what the fuck are you learning over there? Like, who's telling you this?" And I was like, "Dude, no one's telling me this. This is what I think. Like, I think there's no God. No one." Probably if I said that in church, they would look at me like a fucking devil worshiper. That's why I never even brought it up. But
I actually had a talk when I was doing an Uber delivery with a gentleman at a Chinese store, like a shop.
As one does.
It was a black guy. He was probably like in his 40s.
A black Chinese guy?
No, it was just a black dude buying food there. And he was like in his 40s, 50s, and I had the Aaliyah shirt on. He's like, oh man, I like your shirt, this and that. And like right off the bat, he starts talking about like religion and God and stuff. And then I start asking him like, but damn, how do you know that? And he's like, I mean, man, you gotta know, man. Like he was just
it's just faith.
He kept giving me the you
it's
gotta
hope.
know.
Yeah, it's faith and hope.
He recommended me to read the Bible, and that after I read the Bible, that I would understand way more and this and that. And
you know what I would bring up to people?
He was very cool and like respects.
You know what I would bring up to people? I would be like, the Bible was written by a human. It wasn't written by God. And they'd be like, no, it was God on their shoulder telling them in their ear what to write. And I was like, how can you even prove? You can't even prove that.
He was so nice though that I wasn't even trying to go into like. Debate mode with him. So.
I mean, but really, religion doesn't try to.
Another human wrote the Bible. It doesn't
try to provide proof as the main reason for believing shit.
Yeah, I don't think it ever does.
It's just a guideline, a set of rules so that we don't fucking kill each other. That's what it really is. It's guidelines.
It doesn't.
Once you inject those guidelines into a society, it helps you build order. It helps you build something higher than yourself.
That's the only good thing.
It's people working together to create something that's higher than them. You feel me?
The Bible was good for that, like
guidelines,
setting up everything and like how people live, because it's a decent.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not covet.
I'm not mad at the
Bible. You know, your brother's wife or whatever, like.
But like to say that it's factual is like.
To say that God was like they're in their ear whispering it to somebody. That's what I was told by an evangelist. Yeah. He was like, "Oh yeah, the God was in the person's ear, and he told them what to write, and then the person would write it." And I'm like, dude, to believe that's like me believing in a fairy. Like, oh, a fairy came and told me some shit.
I mean, it doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible though.
It's just.
I understand bullshit. He told you that to give you some fucking PG version of.
Because he could explain to me. I was like, how do you know that God wrote the Bible? And he couldn't explain it to me. He just kept saying that shit, and I was like, dude, you're not proving anything.
Nobody's gonna explain it, Leo.
Yeah, because it's all based on faith and hope.
It is based on faith. The idea being that there's because they believe in the idea of divine revelation, which means that God reveals himself to you, and that would end up being stronger evidence than anything you ever read anywhere.
Do you believe that God is coming back?
I don't even think he ever
he's coming back
anywhere to begin with.
For what's that? What do they call that? When God
comes resurrection.
Back? No.
Judgment Day?
Yeah, but what is it called? When God comes back and he he takes the true believers up to heaven with him.
I mean, I know it's like if you get the mark of the beast, you're not allowed.
What's it called, though? Fuck, there's a word for it.
I'm not sure, bro. I'm not into religious stuff, really.
Me either. Oh, hold on.
What was I gonna say? But, you guys know random shit, but what's that dude's name? The dude from Hot Ones, Sean Evans.
Was dating a porn star?
He was dating a porn star on the low, I guess.
Yeah.
Was it on the low?
No, it was on the high.
People knew about it?
Yeah.
But like, wasn't he dating her for a while, and then people found out on Valentine's Day or some shit?
That poor fuck.
The whole thing is that like, why did he break up with her though? I'm sure you know, Leo.
Honestly, I think Adam 22
was doing a scene with her.
Adam 22 put a response. He was like, just to let you know, that pussy's fire." And dude, I think he took that to the heart.
I want to run some questions by you guys.
Damn, that's bad though.
I want to run some very simple questions.
Wait, hold up. Before you even get into that, would you ever date a porn star?
No.
I've dated a porn star before. Some girl named Ducky. She was into porn. She was like a fucking freak, and honestly, she was even a stripper, and I didn't like it. It was too much like extra shit, you feel me? And then the sex had to be extra, which I don't mind, but it's like everything with her was extra, everything. Gotcha. And then she especially when she told me some of her whole stories, I'm like, dude, I do not want to hear this. Like, please keep this shit to yourself. So I would not recommend dating someone like that unless you're mentally ready for that. If you're mentally ready to date an OnlyFans bitch, then yeah, go for it. But it's very taxing, very taxing.
What questions you got, Abe?
I wanted to ask you guys. I'm going to ask some real simple questions, and I want some real simple answers, motherfucker.
Bring it on.
I'm going to ask you whether or not you belong to...
We'll go one by one. Yosha's here in the building, too, guys.
That's true.
The Yakuza man, so don't leave him out.
What the fuck, bro? Why aren't you participating?
Yeah, say something, bro.
Participate, goddammit.
The word I was looking for is the second coming of Christ.
Right.
We'll go one by one with the questions.
So, all right, here's the question. These are simple.
All right.
Very familiar. All right.
I'll go first.
I want to know, do you belong to any of these? Do you belong to... Would you say that you're a stoic?
Maybe parts of it I'm trying to be. I'm trying to. You know?
What percentage of a stoic are you? On a pie chart, what's your percentage?
That's a good question, dog.
So then, what parts do you adhere to, and which parts do you not?
I mean, I agree with like the idea of like just the whole worrying about right now. Don't suffer, like things that are in your mind, the things in the future, things in the past. Like I try to use things like that.
What are your reservations? There's not gonna be a comeback after this, so don't. Feel free.
What are my reservations?
Yeah. What do you have that what parts of it are you sort of like? I don't know about that shit. I'm gonna ask you this for other.
Yeah, I got you. I just think sometimes it could be a little hard to achieve, like to be like a full blown stoic.
There's a part of it that seems unrealistic for a mere mortal to.
Kind of good way to put it, but I. Even then, I'll like try to challenge myself and try to be even more of a stoic. But like, I try to be as much as I can, but not to a degree where I'm gonna like drive myself insane.
Right, where it'll backfire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring up some more questions.
So that's my.
There's 3 more.
Okay, go for it.
Would you consider yourself an Epicurean?
I mean, well, first I would need to learn a lot more about Epicureanism.
Just say that here's a. If I were to just describe briefly the difference between Stoicism and Epicureanism, right? For the Stoics, the greatest good is virtue. That's the only good, actually. For the Epicureans, pleasure is the only good. The version of pleasure.
So they're hedonists.
They are hedonists, but not in the sense that we think of it in modern terms. In the sense of like, instead of drinking a shitload of booze every day and then burning out, becoming an alcoholic and suffering more in the long run, I want to have pleasure now and in the long run. I want to maximize my pleasure. And so maybe what I'll do is drink a little bit of beer on this day, and then the next day go for a morning workout and keep some good friends around me and live a good, pleasurable, comfortable life.
Sounds like the dream.
Right. Now, the idea being that pleasure...
I mean, are they content, though?
I would assume so.
They would assume that is the good life, and that is contentment, and that's as content as you can be.
I would say I'm like maybe like 10, 20% of that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be any higher than that. Or I don't even want to achieve anything higher than that because I don't want to be content. But
You don't want to be content?
I do agree.
I'm sorry, but I have to call bullshit. There's no way you don't want to be content.
What do you mean, Leo? If I was content, then I'd be happy with life right now and I wouldn't want to achieve anything higher. I'll just be like, yo, I'm cool here. This is great. Life's great like this. Like, I want to do bigger things, achieve better things.
Yeah, but you can have drive and just be content. You can't tell me that you don't strive towards being happy every day. Or what? You're sad with your life. You're like, fuck this shit. I fucking hate my life. I doubt it.
Let's get to the other ones before, because I'm going to ask Leo about this too.
Okay, sure. Like I said, I'm a percentage of that. Maybe just a little bit. Not too much, though.
Would you say you're a nihilist?
I feel like certain times I would feel like a nihilist. Where I'm just like, yo, nothing matters. This is all like, fuck all this shit. Like, I think you might need I think it could be healthy to have a little bit of that in you. At certain times.
To
very
be a
low
nihilist,
amount.
you're a pessimist, right?
Very low
amount.
amount.
You're as pessimistic as you can be.
That.
You're definitely pessimistic. You definitely see the wrong in things. You see the bad in things. You don't see the good in things.
There is no bad, though. It doesn't mean shit. It's just like, right?
There is bad. There's evil out there, just like there's good.
Yeah, but from a nihilist perspective, I don't think they really see it like that. I just think...
I would think that a nihilist sees everything as in, like, a bad light. You feel me?
Their main idea is basically that there's no intrinsic meaning to life.
Yeah, so there is no bad, bro. It's like, what are you
and so all this bad and good is just our subjective overlay.
Mental construct, just bullshit.
And that's the perspective they take on it. And then, so you said you're...
I say that you should live like that a little bit sometimes. Like, sometimes I might live on the edge and be like, I'll just have like a nihilistic mindset for certain things, maybe.
Would you consider yourself an existentialist?
I mean, what's their perspective? Like, what's...
I mean, it's very broad, but the main perspective is somebody who grapples with the idea of meaning and trying to find meaning in a place where there's no complete structure for you to say, this is it, I've fucking arrived. Even with Kierkegaard, who was an existentialist, and he was an actual religious person, he was an actual Christian. Even for a guy like him, he still is an existentialist because you have no basis for making the leap of faith that he asks you to make when you choose between God or no God. So that was his thing, right? If you have no good reason for making it, these are his words, not mine, but no good reason for choosing one over the other, you have no objective basis for it, then that's already an existentialist situation, right? You have to struggle with the decision of deciding what it is that gives life meaning. And as opposed to a nihilist, they just already gave up. An existentialist is like grappling.
But can a nihilist do like have goals, have like strive to do things
They
with
can.
a mindset like that?
Well, I don't think there's any real nihilist in the sense that they deeply actually believe that there's no intrinsic meaning to things, because I don't think that works at all.
They probably take bits and pieces from it.
But
yeah, they feel a certain sense, and the description of meaning is difficult. I wouldn't say that they feel meaning in the sense of like at least if they believe it to a certain degree. I wouldn't say that they feel meaning in things like, for example, like pursuing a great career or some shit like that, if they genuinely believe like nihilists. The same way that you can, if you studied Stoicism carefully, you wouldn't see like little things that happen as that big of a deal if you train yourself well enough to be able to moderate yourself and that sort of stuff happens. And the same way you can train yourself with any other philosophy if you...
But do you think in any sense there's any situations where having a nihilistic mindset will work?
No, I don't. First of all, like I said, I don't think there is any real nihilist. I think you can't. I don't think it can work unless you're willing to just sit on that fucking couch until you're a corpse.
Sure.
Because that's what a real nihilist would do.
Would a nihilist say that?
A nihilist probably wouldn't say that. A nihilist would probably try to work around it or some shit, like telling you to accept absurdity.
Because I don't think a nihilist would agree with you.
Which is a nonsensical statement to begin with.
Okay.
Accept the absurd. Why?
Because.
Why?
Because.
I mean, you start with the proposition, why not commit suicide? And then you settle for the idea of just accept the absurd. Why the fuck should you accept the absurd any more than you should, not commit suicide? It's almost like you've transferred one question to another.
So you're saying Camus wasn't really a nihilist?
No, and I don't think the other nihilists are nihilists either. No, I don't.
Wasn't he more of a stoic?
Definitely not.
Fuck
hell no. Bro,
no.
he's the guy that came up with the whole absurd shit, absurdism.
But he was really against the, I
don't even think he would consider himself a nihilist.
The problem is that not only did he think that there's no, like, inherent meaning in the universe, right? Because there's no God or anything like that. It's not like the morals of how things should be and what gives you meaning is embedded into the code of the universe or some shit. He goes beyond that. He's like, and any attempt to get a subjective sense of meaning is also bullshit. So if you
wait, so he thought also...
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's why he wants you to go in the way of absurdism.
Just be like, yo, there is no... That's insane.
So that's where he's coming from. Right. He's coming in with the idea of meaning that a paranoid schizophrenic would have.
My question would be, how the fuck was he living? He definitely wasn't living with that mindset, though.
He was probably very hedonistic. I wouldn't know for sure, but that'd be my guess.
All about the pleasures of the world.
Yeah.
The pleasures of the flesh.
Yeah. But I want to ask you, Leo, what do you think?
About what?
Would you say that you're a stoic in any sense?
Not really. Not too much. I'll give myself like maybe 15% stoic. 20 at the max.
Yeah, like their practices are good. That's why I agree with it. So I would try to even do it myself. Like, I mean, it's helpful. I think so. Like it's.
Which other ones did you say? Epicureanism.
Epicureanism.
Those are the
that one. I'd
hedonists.
give myself more at like 30-40%.
I like the
Man, it's like 80%.
long term pleasure as the greatest.
That's
good.
all he cares about, bro.
That one's like 35%.
Let's
Virtue
get
is
high.
the greatest good. That one's at 15%.
Mm-hmm.
What other ones do we got? The other one was nihilism.
I'd say I'm kind of far from nihilist.
Yeah.
I'll probably give myself like 5-10%.
What about existentialist?
Probably the rest, probably 30%.
Yeah, because that one I think it's hard to. I mean, you gotta be if you're not. If you're gonna say you're a nihilist and just give up the entire pursuit of meaning.
Yeah.
You
then it doesn't even matter what I say.
Then if you're not gonna do that, then if at least if you're an atheist, then you gotta go the road of existentialism, because you gotta find something
to hold on
that's
to,
meaningful,
something that gives you life, your life meaning.
That gives you a subjective sense of meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise, then what the fuck?
I mean, I still think there's a higher power out there. I don't know who it is. I don't know what God it is. I don't know from what religion. But I know there's a higher power out there.
Would you ever smoke crack with a higher power?
I don't think that's possible.
Oh yes, it is.
And I hate uppers. Like I fucking hate uppers.
You're gonna
like
have,
cocaine, crack, all that shit.
You're
I
gonna
fucking
have
Yeah,
hate
but
it.
in heaven it's gonna feel amazing.
I'll tell you what, you're gonna
dead wrong
have
for saying
a
that.
much higher power.
He's talking about like if you smoke crack with God.
Of course, right? Yeah, we just smoke crack cocaine with God. Of
It
course.
doesn't get any higher than that.
Come on, dude. You're in the pearly
All praise
gates.
to the highest.
Come on, dog. Bro, if God was offering you some shit, come
So
on.
if God offered you the pipe, you would take it, right?
If I'm in heaven,
Yeah.
hell yeah. What else do I gotta lose? I'm fucking in heaven dead, bro.
Chill with all this pipe talk.
Hey,
In the morning, they pray to God to cure their hangovers.
Listen, bro. I guarantee everybody in heaven is getting high as hell.
Lit.
Hell
No,
yeah, bro.
it's
I don't even think you
If
would
there
need
is
to
a
smoke.
heaven, they're very sober and very
Biggie thought
daunting.
otherwise, though. He was like,
I bet you they feel high as fuck all the time.
Aren't angels just like fucking bunch of eyeballs with wings coming out of it?
Those
Have you
are
seen-
descriptions.
yeah.
I mean, there are different types of angels and described.
I mean, yeah, we
I
westernized
don't-
angels.
I don't think
the fucking,
those angels
The ones
smoke
in the
crack.
Bible.
I don't think those angels smoke crack.
The ones in Ezekiel's visions, I mean, that is wild.
They kind of
shit.
look scary. They're like a little
They're
like
fucking
dogs.
terrifying.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Ape has sent me some shit of that before. That is not
They look pretty
that is not
crazy.
an angel, bro.
It looks horrific.
It's a demon.
It looks like some shit you want to
It's
kill with a
some type of
baseball bat,
deity.
bro. You said what sobriety?
It's some type of deity. Deity, however you say it.
No, I see what you mean. You know, Yosh, I was gonna ask you the same questions, but fuck, bro, I have no idea. I mean, blink if you're alive. Fuck, he's dead. Jesus Christ.
We killed him.
Fucking killed Yosh. I
We
told
fucking
you
killed
people
Yosh.
get contact highs, motherfucker. You
Listen,
underestimated that weed.
Listen, bro. That's what happens.
That's the shit that killed Pablo Escobar. Jesus fucking.
God damn.
Shout out to Pablo.
No, I actually do have some philosophical questions that we can get into because
Oh.
these are actually more on
Hey,
the.
man, can't prepare today.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a shocker.
Absolutely.
Let's go. I'm ready to hear that.
But I wanna start with one that'll make more sense to us here.
Go for it.
So let me just get because I want to get both of your opinions here.
I'll go first if you want.
Because Yosh died. May he rest in peace. But all right. Just to be clear, where do you guys stand on this free will situation? Would you say free will exists, free will doesn't exist, or you're a compatibilist, where you think
After listening to Sam Harris's argument for it, it's kind of hard to argue that,
yeah.
and it's just like he's so right when it's like the illusion of free will, because it's like, dude, we think we have it, we just like, it's hard to us even admit that we don't. It's like it's something in us. Like
It seems very compelling.
Why
and
do you
also-
think? Why do you think that you don't?
Huh?
Why do you think that you don't?
Oh, this is good.
I mean, because you think you control your thoughts?
To a certain degree, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you have
where does it come from?
You have intrusive thoughts that come and pop into your head, but that's just your subconscious firing off and the neurons in your head picking up on certain things that, like, you might see something in real life that'll send a message to your memory to jog that neuron that'll bring you
Yeah,
back
but
to that
you
to
still
that
don't-
specific memory that you subconsciously you
Right.
tapped into.
Yeah, but there's no like we don't know where it's like where are they coming from. though?
I feel like that's a good thesis.
We don't know that though. Like we don't.
Can I present the?
Go for it, bro. Go.
Let me just give you a brief little introduction to Harris's argument. And a lot of other people's argument too. It's not just. I mean, it's not his. He's just someone that expresses it.
I just heard
well.
it from him. My fault.
But
dude is articulate.
Definitely not his though. But the idea being two variables, right? Well, two types of variables. There's your biology, and there's your environment, right? So nature and nurture, right? These are the two things that you can look at as a scientist if you're studying living beings, right? To study their behavior and why it occurs, for example. So your biology, let's start with that one, right? So none of your genes, none of those were something that you controlled at all. They were there. Right?
I think my genes are it's just a mix of my mom and dad.
You don't pick your parents.
And a mix of their mom and dad's. It's a mix of my family tree dating all the way back, you feel me?
Right.
The point is,
and
you don't pick
all
it,
the
though.
choices that they made amount to like my biology.
Yes, but you didn't pick it though.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But you have no control over that.
You don't pick them.
No, of course
That's what he's
not.
trying to say. Yeah, everything you said is right, but you don't pick them.
And so, for example, the neurons in your brain that make every movement that you make possible, you don't get to choose which neurons fire at any moment, at all, ever.
I mean, I think you should though. Like, I think it definitely
That's
like
not a good enough answer,
there's
man.
there's subconscious thoughts that creep into your mind, but for the most part, you should be able to control your brain and control your thinking, and
you think that you control that there's some part of you that the subconscious part you don't control, and then the conscious part, that's the part that you control.
Yeah.
And that one is actually something that you could do. In other words, you could have done something different than give me the answer that you just gave me right now, right? You could have said something else. You could have.
But you didn't though.
Yeah.
But you didn't though.
But you chose not to. In other words,
Because I chose to tell you what I think is true, what is right.
Right. And so since you control none of those neurons that are firing, you don't control any of that shit. You also don't control the external environment. I mean, you can biologically interact with the environment, but you don't control.
You can add to it. So you can subtract from it too.
Like I said, you can interact with the environment, but you don't control its existence. So, for example, born in Afghanistan,
Versus
born in Cuba, born in the U.S.
No, that's for
surrounded by crackheads or surrounded by billionaires, right? Those
for
are,
fate to decide. That's not for me to decide.
Sure, right. So where is the third thing? If you don't control your biology, you don't control the environment. What is that third thing that you call free will that you control?
Like I said, my conscious mind,
Well, how do you control that? I mean, if it's just your neurons that are causing you to even be able to think in the first place, you don't control any of those. Why do you control anything?
But I'm saying you do control those. You can have those under control. You could have, you consciously, you can make good choices. You feel me? Choices that are the right thing to do.
That's what typical people.
Let me try to step it back a bit. Okay, so let's see if we can get an agreement or a disagreement on this part. So, what makes your consciousness and your thoughts appear the way that they do, right, is your neurological activity, right? And so that produces your thoughts, both conscious and unconscious.
Of course.
And since you don't control that,
That's
well,
pretty
then
much his
how
argument.
could you control
Anything else? Your
what
thoughts,
you perceive
this,
as
that.
something that you do control? How can you control
what
you call you consciously?
I mean, you choose not to do drugs, right? Not to smoke weed, not to take acid, not to do anything, right? Aren't you making a conscious decision, a choice not to do that?
I mean,
Aren't you in control of you not doing drugs?
No.
How can you say no? You're choosing not to do drugs. You're choosing not to drink. And you're choosing not to smoke. You feel me?
Again, I'm a biological system, and I have an environment that I interact with. But I didn't choose the environment that I'm available to interact with, and I didn't choose the biology. And the biology is what makes you interact with the environment. All I'm saying is that free will is an illusion. That's the only thing.
I mean, I guess I could see how you would say it's an illusion. I see your point. I just think we're a little bit more fine-tuned than that. I wouldn't want to believe that
That's the whole
that we
illusion
just
thing.
leave everything. We just leave everything to the wind. Everything to you
don't like the idea.
I don't like. Well, no one wants to be a puppet being controlled by a puppeteer.
But that has nothing to do
Whoever
with
knows.
But that has nothing to do with whether or not it's true, though. Right? We may not like it.
But I mean, in my head, I don't think that's true. But I guess it's to each their own, you know. Fair if you don't believe in free will, then what do you believe? Trust me, if you don't believe in free will, what do you believe in? Because then that would mean that who are you? You're just being controlled by outside forces. Like
what outside forces?
The environment, people around you, what you hear on TV. Like you're just being controlled by everything else going on.
Your biology.
All of that influences you though, somehow, some way.
Again,
but you have a certain way that you think. It's not like you just hear. It's not like you hear on the computer, "Oh, the Taliban killed 67 people," and you're like, "Oh, that's cool. That's great." No, like you know what's wrong. You know what's right.
Yeah. The best thing about the illusion of free will is that no matter how well you understand that there's no free will, you're still gonna have the illusion of free will, and you're still gonna feel as though you're the one that's in charge of some shit.
But why do you think that?
Because it's a human instinct.
Right?
If you're not in charge, who's in charge?
Your biology's in charge. I don't know what you mean. See, this is an important question to answer about the you thing. This is where
what is you?
If your mind is not in charge, if you mentally are not in charge of your body, then what is driving you right now?
Well, your body's in charge of you.
That's his argument. That's what he's trying to say.
So your biological body is what's making you do all these things.
Yes, Leo. That's the point.
I mean, yeah, that's one way to think about it.
And I don't think that you're separate from that, by the way. I don't think that there's some you outside of the body.
Well, obviously.
That is controlling the body from some outside place.
I mean, you could think of it that way. You know, it's everyone has their own opinion.
Listen, I just don't see any...
You don't think in any way consciousness could break that argument, though?
Oh, no. If we solve a problem of consciousness and it demonstrates that there's some third variable, in other words...
A lot of people think that the soul is the third variable.
Yeah, but
is there a soul?
But there's no evidence for it.
Is there such a thing as a soul? Do you believe there's a soul?
No.
No?
That's something as a robot.
No. I guess. All right, then.
Ape
that answers that.
But that doesn't really...
I get it. I know, bro. Bro. There's no evidence. Isn't that...
I mean, that's like when you said that you wouldn't get brainwashed into some shit, right? I mean, to me, the soul is some brainwashing shit. Like, why would you believe that?
I mean, I'm just saying there's something that has to guide your relationship with spirituality. You feel me? Like
why?
there's something inside of you, and it might just be neurons in your brain firing. It might not be a soul. You feel me? But then again, there might be. Who knows? You might have a soul. You might not. Who knows? Maybe it's easier to rationalize it like that. You know, like your relationship with spirituality. I would attribute that to the soul, I guess.
I mean, people have been doing it for...
It's pretty old. I understand what you mean. Obviously, like I said, like in the same way that you told the priest or whoever at the church, like, okay, you're telling me somebody told this shit to God in his ear, and you know that's why it's... I mean, but there's no evidence for this shit. You're just telling me this shit.
So
and I'm actually a big believer that, well, I always need evidence for whatever I think. So the whole soul thing to me is something new, something that I didn't believe in before. But I've always believed, like, I need evidence. Like, where's the evidence of my soul? And that's something I still, wrestle with to this day, because I'm like, is there really a soul? Because there's really no evidence.
That's the biggest, question of life, right? Is there a God?
No, I'm not going to pretend like I don't speculate about shit that's spiritual. Like, I have no sense of spiritual awareness.
Don't act like
you're not a robot. You're not a robot.
That's not that. First of all, that wouldn't be true if I told you that, right? Now, what I'm saying is, like, from an empirical perspective, there's no evidence or any space that's been allotted for the existence of free will.
Sure.
Now, if there's something outside of the empirical data that could demonstrate it, or if there's something in empirical data in the future that demonstrates it,
you're open to
I'm all for it. But if you ask me, like, from an empirical, like, just
all
regular...
All right, let's take out empirical...
then I can speculate about anything, shit.
But what's your honest take about it?
Not
an empirical take, though.
My honest take is I don't fuck... I mean, how
Even then, you're still...
No, my honest take is I don't know anything beyond my own sensory
You never had any spiritual moment?
Oh, I've definitely had spiritual moments.
Regarding not acid or drugs.
So how could you not believe in it?
I mean, I've always asked.
Well, I told you from an empirical perspective. But honestly, I could just come out of a trip and say that was just a trip.
But I've done a lot of psychedelics, and I never felt closer to God because of it. It did open up my mind, and made me be more like I could connect with things more. You know, like I can put myself in someone else's shoes better, I guess. but it didn't really make me open to spirituality so much.
You didn't have any spiritual experience on psychedelics?
On DMT, yeah. On DMT, I could have sworn I was talking to a council of like higher beings that they were like judging my life.
Yeah.
And that was very spiritual to me.
Council?
Yeah, I swear to God. And they were like the
God had a fucking
like the desk that they were on was
shit?
like made of light. It was like a thing made of light, of particles of light. It was really crazy.
When I took
DMT was super crazy.
All those
You thought you talked to God before, dog. Come on.
Oh no, I definitely I encountered in the beginning. Later on, it just went to God and fucking pure consciousness or whatever. Some shit that's impossible to even fucking describe. But at the early stages, what I had was this this divine goddess soul that was killing me.
The fuck?
Right.
Motherfucker was off the...
Yeah.
Off the good drugs.
Not only was she killing me, she loved me.
Oh, I got the boom boom.
And she had to do it. And
I
couldn't tell her no.
Freaky ass boy.
And so that happened.
So you smashed and got killed?
No, I didn't say I smashed. You don't fuck a goddess like that, though. You can't just get on the first date and expect to hit that shit, bro.
So you seen a goddess?
It had to take... Oh, yeah. Well,
was that one of your, like, heaviest dosage?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You know, I've done a lot of fucking DMT and acid and mushrooms, but I've never visualized something that wasn't there. I've seen things that are there morph into other things, and
you never hallucinated?
And the world, that's not how psychedelics work. And
DMT
you see it.
Sorry.
DMT, yeah. In DMT, yeah. DMT, like I said, I saw a council of people that were judging me, like, of course, in DMT. And also in ayahuasca, which I did ayahuasca too, and ayahuasca was fucking crazy.
You were in a fucking courtroom, dog, while you were off DMT, bro?
It wasn't a courtroom. It was like a council. It was and there was a lot of geometric patterns going on everywhere.
Yeah. Tell me that wouldn't be a funny
and they were sitting on like these desks made out of light, like particles. I don't know. It was really crazy, dude.
A motherfucker trips and he ends up in a fucking...
But dude, after that trip, like, it made me it made me think about my whole life. It made me like ponder on my whole life. Like in those 15-20 minutes that I was in that DMT trip, it totally changed my mind. I feel like it made my neurons fire like different ways. Like I don't think I've been the same since that DMT trip.
You ever get the empathy shock during a psychedelic trip where it's like fucking all
where you just feel for someone so hard?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely.
Or you think about...
Especially on mushrooms, because mushrooms, the body load is kind of heavier. And whenever I put myself in someone else's shoes...
Mushrooms that happened to me, it was so fucking intense, that shit.
You were thinking about Lil Shorty?
No, the feeling of empathy that I have for everyone,
yeah.
bro. Like, for the fucking world, like, damn, bro,
we're
just trying our best, you know?
You can step into anyone's shoes, dude. You can put yourself in anyone's shoes off psychedelics.
Yeah, I've seen chicks off the Molly, they be getting crazy.
Fuck Molly. Molly's a selfish drug. It's all about pleasure for the self.
Yeah.
I don't
shit. The fuck else you want? That's the point of drugs.
Psychedelics aren't like that. It's not just pleasure
they're not
of the
same.
self. Oh.
They're not the same, bro. It's not even close. I mean, you can definitely, if you take like, I've had experiences on mushrooms where like at least in the early stages it feels
euphoric.
You get like that fucking, you know,
tickly
that
feeling?
Full energy and that fucking happy as shit that you get from
and
that.
you're just laughing at whatever.
Right, that type of... where you can
that's like the come up. The come up always makes my stomach like have butterflies in it, you feel me?
But you know those episodes where you fucking laugh for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
That type of shit.
I remember you, dude, when you were like about to start...
I took shrooms with this man and ended up doing that. I would just fucking laugh and it was fucking ridiculous.
I don't think I'll ever do psychedelics, especially at a high dose again. Like, that's over with.
Spooked you?
No, it's just I've done it so much that... And at a certain time, it started, like, changing my mind to where I was having flashbacks. When I wasn't on acid, time would feel like I was going fast forward. Like, I clicked fast forward on the DVR, but my life was going fast forward.
It was like that movie
And
Click.
I was like, dude, literally, I'm losing it. I was like, dude, I'm losing it. I have to stop doing this. And then I left psychedelics alone for years, and now, that doesn't happen anymore. But seriously, it would feel like my life was in literally fast forward. Which is crazy.
That is fucking insane. Bro.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Jesus.
Have you ever tripped? You never tripped?
I mean...
You've eaten like a piece of chocolate, but you never really tripped, right?
That was my tripping.
I think you should try it. Like I said, if you're a person that's smart, it'll make the trip even better. It's like giving a race car 93 octane. It's gonna run better, you feel me? Instead of giving a piece of shit Corolla like 93 octane, it's not really gonna make a difference. Like the human is
functioning better off.
Yeah, like if you're smart already, or if you have an open mind, you'll definitely take the psychedelics, and it'll like expand your mind for sure. just be careful how far you want to expand it, because after a while you start questioning things like, oh, is this real? Does this matter? Why does it matter? You feel me? And you don't want to get to that point.
I've always said if I ever do trip, I'm gonna do it on the pod live.
Shit. Well, yeah, that'll definitely be interesting.
I mean, that's the only way to do it, bro.
If you say so.
I mean, there's an interesting thing that happens with psychedelics, and that
You've seen that?
It's the only way that you can naturally, unless you have some sort of thing that manipulates biology, or unless you believe that, you know, the spiritual experience was caused by something supernatural.
Yeah.
It's really the only way that you can sort of hack the system in a way where every sense and every conception of yourself completely morphs or disappears. And you completely question everything about reality. There's nothing else.
Sounds like a really, really strong acid trip.
Dude, you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Sorry to some completely different, but you guys seen this? There was this part where Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris are like debating, and
I haven't seen that.
Fuck, what does he say? Cause Sam Harris is like, dude, pretty much like, and not for word, but he's like, dude, you're pretty much. Somebody asked you if you could explain how. Fuck, what was it? It was something about like God or some shit. And Jordan Peterson's answer was like, yeah, man, I would have to tell you, the answer would take like 40 hours or something.
Oh, yeah. I love that shit is comedy.
And then, yeah, and then.
What's wrong with this guy? Talk about having an ego.
He can't tell you, he can't give you a straight up yes or no answer to the simple
Everything
question,
is introspective.
Does God exist or some shit like that?
And then Sam's point was pretty much like, yeah, dude, that's the point. Like, you can never just give a straightforward answer like that anything about God and shit. Jordan is about to give you like a 20-minute like this, that. Like,
Sam went further too. He was like, listen, if I were to ask you about something like, you know, Nazism or postmodernism or some shit like that, you would have you would be able to give me a direct answer as to whether or not you agree with something or not, right? But when it comes to the topic of God, then it becomes incredibly...
Because it's incredibly nuanced.
You know why? Because Jordan...
But there's still a yes or no answer as to whether or not you believe it.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. No, but it's more difficult than just yes or no, you feel me?
But it can be a yes or no.
Yeah,
because you either believe or you don't.
Yeah, of course. But there could be people that are agnostic that don't know. Like, I was agnostic for a while. I don't know, you feel me?
Right.
But
that's not what he's claiming.
Yeah. Jordan also says that, I forgot what he said, that
because you could just answer agnostic if that's the case.
He behaves like God exists. Or something along those lines. Like,
because just in case he actually does exist? Like he won't be thrown into hell?
No, that's definitely not what he was saying. He goes into it like really deep.
I mean, like I said, it's a good set of guidelines for your life. Like acting like God exists, following the Bible isn't a bad
like
thing.
God exists?
Huh?
You behave like God exists?
I mean, shit, we all do make mistakes, but I try not to be a dickhead to people, you feel me? I try my best to like
I don't
help
think that
people
has to correlate with God existing though.
Yeah, well, why it is a big push for everybody.
I forgot his point, by the way, so I don't even remember. Do you remember?
I remember that I gotta take a fucking piss. Jesus Christ.
Alright, I just want to let everyone know. I just want to let everyone know, I think Ape needs to get laid. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.